That's all I got to say.
Do you think men who make it to that level have an easy time choosing women?
Hell yeah.
No.
Not to sleep with, for the real reason, for marriage. Do you think they have an easy time selecting a mate when they've already arrived?
You damn right.
No.
When a man levels up to his potential, are you saying when
Can
a man
you pick
levels
a wife, or is it easy to pick a wife?
Is it easy to pick a wife when you got your pick of the litter? When you've done all the work and maximize your potential?
Yep. Is it easy to pick a wife?
Damn right.
No.
You damn right.
Come on.
No way.
No, that's not true.
You asked me a question and now you're going to tell me it's not true.
Because we know it's not true, because every time we see a man that has the money and has this ability and has the pick of the litter, it gets more difficult because he doesn't know who's in it for him.
Yeah,
now you're asking a loaded question, sort of like what we did on Thursday.
It was definitely loaded. I figured that
but it's loaded based on your biased opinion.
Okay, Bruiser. When you have the pick of the litter, you have the pick of the litter, but your discernment for the woman that would be ideal for you now becomes clouded because you do not know who to trust.
Okay, so I would argue that the person that makes 50,000 versus the person that makes 500,000 a year, there's no contrast between who you can know, whether or not you can trust somebody. It's still the same shit. It just don't matter.
I think you're very intelligent, but you're delusional with that statement.
No, man. The more money you make, I get it. I get it. Y'all are trying to throw that, okay, guys who make more money, it's harder to trust. What I'm saying is when you make more money and you become part of that group, you're a lot more careful and a lot less reckless on your decisions. You start actually taking your time and sharpening your knife whenever it comes to cut. Whenever it comes to actually choosing somebody to be your wife, we're talking about somebody that's going to be your wife. We're talking somebody that's going to end up taking a portion of your resources in the event of a divorce.
I think they're just the opposite. I think they're more superficial. And so you pick like that.
You have your pick of the litter. You're in places where if you're a 500,000-aire,
everybody wants you.
Compared to a 50,000, there's access places. The access that the guy that makes $500,000, he has access to where that guy that makes half of 100,000 will never get most of the time. And the women that are there, they know who are coming into those places and they know their intent. And those women, as you say, sharpen your knife, they got a lot of knives and they're all sharp. They're like ninja stars. Look at the discernment and your age, the cognitive dissonance. I'm gonna give you, what's that girl, Drea? Who she just had a baby by? She's 39. What's his name? Jalen Green, Houston Rockets. You didn't think she worked that like a ham sandwich?
Well, I would say this. I would say women are hypergamous. She dated an NFL player. So the next guy she gonna date is gonna either be parallel or above that, or she gonna die alone.
But this is to your point. He's a man. You didn't give age or anything. He's at the top of the top. His discernment for that woman, was it clouded or clear?
Man, okay, so the things that work for a man in dating is not the same. It's not the same thing that a man goes through or that a woman goes through. So I'm not gonna say that Jalen Green's mind was clouded. I would say he probably had a fetish. He probably watched her while he was growing up on freaking NBA Wives. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna get that. And when I don't even try to compare myself to guys who make NBA salaries.
When you're at the top of the game, you got better choices. And
exactly.
You
said you sharpen your knife when you're at the top of your game, and she was able.
It doesn't make any sense to use somebody like an NBA player. These guys that can afford to make decisions like that.
You're moving the goal.
He's not even married to her. He had a kid with her. Y'all was talking about marriage.
Okay, so
you think it's gonna be easy for that man to get married?
Hold on, Sweeney, give me a minute.
I think it's way easier for a man to marry whenever he's at his maximum potential than when he's actually trying to go and grind for it.
Okay, you're trying to sweep what you said. 3 minutes ago.
That's
under
me.
the
Y'all
carpet.
asking me what I believe, and I'm telling y'all what I believe.
Okay, I'm talking to what you believe. Your point, which I felt was delusional, and you made the case of the 50,000 guy, the guy that makes 50,000 to 500. He be that much more discerning.
I didn't say he was that much more discerning. Now you
did.
choosing words that I didn't say.
used-
I said the trust issues doesn't change based on your salary.
Bruiser, you
I
said
said you
his
can still
knives
be
would be
betrayed
that
by a
much
woman
more
who
sharpened.
dates you when you're making 50,000 versus you making $1 million. Don't make no difference. If somebody gonna betray you, that's based on their own character, not based on your salary.
Okay.
All right, we gotta get Luis in. We gotta get Luis in there. Go ahead, finish up Kenny, and let's get Luis in there.
Okay, so excuse me if I misheard. You were the one that said at that level his knives would be sharpened. That means his intelligence level as for discerning what's around him. Did you or did you not say that just a little while
Yes,
ago?
I said whenever you get to that level, you're going to be a lot more careful about the steps you take and the decisions you make because you got a lot to lose. And it took so long, so much hard blood, sweat, and tears and sweat to get there that you're going to be careful about your selection process when you get to your potential.
And I
Versus
just
being
gave you
here, a young whippersnapper out here, just selecting women and getting in relationships based off of a hard on.
so I didn't make a case. I didn't make a case why that didn't make sense.
By definition, that's
No, you didn't make a case because you use a 22-year-old NBA player
Lewis,
that makes more than
my bad.
1% of the population, bro.
Sometimes it don't take a lot to get that money for some people, so they don't get to learn these skills that you're claiming they would learn during that time, like the young basketball or football player he's talking about.
So when you use NBA players, you got to understand you can afford to make mistakes like that. So you don't want to use that as a pillar to try to draw an understanding about the topic we making.
Even,
You know what I'm saying?
All right, okay. Let's say you're a 23-year-old.
We got to get Luis in there. Go ahead, Luis.
So Bruiser, so based on the archetype of person that you pretty much laid out for us, someone who, you know, is ambitious, has worked himself and has gotten him to the top of his potential, right? And you're saying that person has the pick of the litter. I don't disagree. However, I would think that person would value his time a lot more than most other people because they understand that there is a value attached to it. You don't want to be just attached to a bunch of other people and just string along, right? So I would think that person will already understand who they would want and would want to go after that, as opposed to being, you know what I'm saying, seeing a sea of women and just being like, oh man, I don't know what to pick. I would think that person has already sharpened themselves and gotten to a point like, okay, I know I have a lot of options and I know I'm attracting a lot of women, but I understand my time is valuable and my time is limited. And sort of, this is the type of person with these features, etc., and this type of character that I want to attract or that I want to be serious with. You know what I'm saying? You've already kind of filtered that out to a certain point. Although there's a seeable right next to you, you know what I'm saying? You already have filtered that out if you're that said person, because at the end of the day, you have to value your time to a degree. If you're that guy who you're, you know, who you've placed this archetype around, right? I would think that would be the eliminating factor.
Yes, that's right. And that's all about, when you said it perfectly. Your time is way more important, so you actually move a little bit more precariously, or whatever the word you want to use. But you got to understand, a lot of people play on their way up. When you're making progress and you're on your way to where you want to go, you're going to play. You're going to test the field here and there. You're going to see what it is you want and what it is you don't want. And whenever it's time to go and vet for a wife, you already know, like you said, you know the hell you want, so you know how to use that discernment, and you know you got a lot to lose. So you're going to be a lot more careful than the people who out here that's just average and not really trying to get to maximize their potential. That's my whole point.
That by definition means that it's harder.
Say what?
That by definition means that it's harder.
It's harder what?
To find a wife when you got that kind of money, because you are way more skeptical, you are way more vigilant in how you choose and things like that. And we even talk about women when they have a lot of choices, it makes it more difficult for them to find a mate. You at that point, you trying to weed in and out and trying to find the perfect whatever fits in you. It is extremely more difficult for a man that's already there.
No, well, see, and that's the initial question you asked earlier, Sweeney. And I disagree. And even after all of this back and forth with multiple guys on the panel, I still disagree. I honestly believe that whenever you get to a point, when you get to a point where you got leverage, bro, it's that much easier to find a wife because you can literally make a wife if you wanted to.
I would think that you would have a
personally
close
believe
circle
when you
that
get to a certain threshold,
But
you can
wouldn't that
climb
be
your way into a
settling?
point where you can make a wife. You can make a wife bend to whatever the hell you want and do whatever the hell you want based on the leverage you got on the achievements and accomplishments you make on your progress and as far as leveling
Does
up.
that make
I
her
believe
the
that.
ideal woman for you? Because you're breaking her with the leverage of your finance, not the woman that is ideal for you. You completely contradicted yourself with the statement with the sharpened knives, then came back, got an example to debunk what you said, and you said it's like people are dogpiling on you. It's not. We're challenging that thing that you said. I think you're very intelligent. I've listened to you long before, but this point that you're making is contradictory to your initial statement. I said, Drea, young man, no cognitive dissonance at the point, top of the level. She ate him up like a sandwich, got pregnant. She knew exactly what she was doing. That's the lotto ticket.
And I think it's disingenuous to use somebody like Jalen Green. And everybody here
How?
that's anywhere close to 35, 40 or above would know using, we
Playing
talking
like
about
a
a,
fiddle right now.
hold on real quick. We're
Now,
talking about a damn baby in the game. Somebody who just graduated high school 2 or 3 years ago that haven't even been out here to even, bro, you can't use Jalen Green. He's a child.
why not?
So
You
He's a
can't
man.
use
Is
him
he not?
you
parallel
want
to
a
a
man
man
to
in
wait
his
till he's
40s and
35
50s.
He's a
or 40
man.
before
He's a man
he
with an
settle
income.
on a woman?
This man is using his ability to jump over 40 inches out of the air to be able to get to that paycheck. I'm
You
talking about men who actually grind and actually been out in the trenches and worked hard and been out
So
here
what
in
age
multiple
range?
relationships.
What age
It
range?
don't even make no sense using a 22-year-old baby to make a point, bro.
What
You
age
know,
He
range
didn't
would
do
you
no grind. That ain't no damn work.
what age range are you talking about? 35 to 40? You want him to wait that long?
you're trying to.
Hold on. It's even easier than that. First of all, we know 35-year-old men out there who are stars and shit getting played like fiddles right now. But let's take it a little step further. Who the motherfucker that was coaching the Boston Celtics? He was with Neil Long. You think why you think it's hard for that nigga? You think that nigga ain't
Udoka.
he could get married any day of the week if he wanted to? Why isn't he?
He didn't want to get married.
Why?
You gotta ask him that.
How do
You know
he
the
didn't wanna
reason
get
why.
married?
No, you don't. You can't sit here and from a third person view and say you know why another man didn't want to get married.
You don't know why that dude ain't trying to get married.
Bruiser, the ill part
You can
is you won't
you can have an
concede it,
idea
and
why
then you
somebody did get married, but you don't have a solid,
Stephen
secure. You
Jackson
don't have solid,
told you
secure
why that
knowledge
nigga
on
don't
whether
want to get
somebody
married.
didn't get married. We're talking about a man that's in a position to be able to get married when he wants to. For us to sit here and say we know why he didn't get married. Did he come out on the record officially and say why he didn't want to get married to me alone?
I think we know enough about men
Sweeney.
to know why it becomes a lot.
We know enough. Okay, and I'll get you. I agree with you. We know enough about men to say that, hey, look, we know whether or not we want to get married. As soon as maybe 3 to 6 months, we'll know whether this woman is the one we want to marry without even having to deal with her for a long period of time. We can agree to that, can't we, Sweeney?
Sweeney, you
A
gave
man
him
knows
out.
whether or not he want to marry a woman. It
Sweeney,
doesn't take that long, bro. Especially if you already fully established.
Sweeney, you took it off the point and you gave him something else to talk about. Like he tried to diminish now Jalen Green being a baby, a man
That's
that
why I took
comes
it
in
away
and
from Jalen Green.
he has OGs.